YouTube, what is good? Welcome back to another video on the channel, man. Today we're going to be going over the Madden 26 wish list that I asked you guys to provide feedback for, man. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on what you guys want to see in the next game. If you guys are interested in doing a part 2 or even hearing my wish list, definitely let me know that down in the comment section below. And if you guys show love to this type of video, we can continue to do more of these in the future. And then also, again, you guys will also be able to hear my wish list as well. So make sure you guys are showing love to the video. Make sure you like it if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel so we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. And let's get into the Madden 26 wish list, man. So what this wish list will basically consist of is going to be any features that you want added or removed. Again, it can be anything you want to be added or removed. If you guys have any other feedback, let me know down in the comment section, man. If you guys have any other suggestions or things you would want to see on your wish list. But let's get into what people have been saying so far. So first things first, from my guy Nick Forrester, I think that's how you say it, Forrester. I apologize if I, mispronounce your name, but he says the ability to use alternate uniforms whenever we want in MUT. I couldn't agree more, just because I've had so many people ask me, hey, where have you found those alternate Falcons jerseys, or just in general, where have you found alternate jerseys? Now, I know this is something very small in the grand scheme of MUT and Madden and, everything as a whole, but it does seem like it is a want from the community. It does seem like a lot of what you guys want. And I think it's very important to, cater to the community. If that's something that you guys really, really want, then I think we should have the ability, every season to be able to get alternate jerseys, be able to sell those on the auction house. Again, I don't know why they haven't really been added into the game since essentially the very beginning of the year, because I've had a lot of people ask me where I got them from. It was from like an earlier season pass, but they just never brought them back. I'm not really sure why, and again, I'm not really sure why they're not able to be posted on the auction house and just a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I do think that is something actually, again, may not seem very important, but I think it's something that is worthwhile definitely giving some attention to. Now, I am going to take off my face cam for the next one from my boy Jason Lim. He says TVPs, more regulated abilities, and a good superstar KO with rewards that connect to Ultimate Team are his big 3. Now, we'll kind of just break down each individual one here as I bring my face cam back up. So TVPs. So what I've heard from that, or just what I've heard from people in the community, everybody loves TVPs, right? I wasn't really playing Madden at the time when these were a thing, but from what I gather and what I see from people in the community on Twitter, on YouTube, whatever the case may be, it seemed like it was a lot better to have those packs in the store rather than the ones that we have right now, which are basically, in my opinion, useless, right? The ones, let me make sure I'm calling it the right name, the mystery packs that we have. TVPs seem to be that they were better, I guess better suited to be more profitable. I don't think EA really wants that. I think EA sadly wants people to, not have an advantage when it comes to opening those packs. But again, I know it was a lot of fun for people in there. So that's definitely something that, we definitely should consider adding to the game to make it a little bit more balanced, because I think, mystery packs are too, like, it's too not profitable. But if they could find a way to where it could be profitable, not profitable every time, I think that's the best way that we can kind of add those things into the game, right? He then says more regulated abilities. I definitely think, especially earlier on in the year, I do think more like regulated abilities does make more sense. Less game-breaking abilities off the rip. I think at this stage in the year, May, June, July, into the next game, I don't think it really matters nearly as much, just because it is end game. I do think they gave us, a lot of end game abilities a little bit too early, in which the game doesn't really feel any different, as they're adding in more stuff. It just pretty much just feels the same. So I think it's kind of not necessarily a pacing issue, but I definitely could see it being something that, just making it so that we don't get nearly as many abilities as once. Maybe not nearly as many abilities, but just the level of abilities, it takes longer to get to that point. Because I know at a certain point there was times that we just there's already Colossus everywhere. There was already Unstoppable Force everywhere. You know, things like X factors and things like that. Maybe not necessarily abilities. Maybe that's more so what I mean. Maybe the fact that they gave out X factors pretty early on this year, in my opinion, you know, I definitely think that's something we could look at. And then he also mentioned a Superstar KO mode. So I think that's something that we could see. I know they added the like 6v6 thing, so I think they could, if they could integrate Superstar KO into that as like a limited time mode, just so that we can mix up the limited time modes of house rules, draft, 6-on-6, you know, whatever the case may be. I think we could have more of a pool to make each event truly feel like it's different, and honestly be able to cater more towards whatever the promo could be. Again, I don't really have any examples for that, but I do think that is something that we could, you know, definitely consider adding into, and I think EA should definitely consider adding into the next game. I think that's a great idea. Shout out to you. Shout out to Nick as well, man. So the next comment we've got is from Evil Levi, man. He says, more Dan Marino cards. He obviously must be a Miami Dolphins fan, but he basically says to up the speed. He gave other people 99 speed, like they gave William Perry 99 speed. And there's another example. They gave Tom Brady 99 speed. I understand he's an LTD, but I'm not gonna lie, a Dan Marino card in May coming out with 87 speed when pretty much every other card in the game that's on everybody's field has 99 speed is pretty crazy. I think they could have at least gave him 90 speed. I know it's not realistic to have Dan Marino have 90 speed, but it's also not realistic for Tom Brady to have 99 speed, and players to gain height by having certain you know, team chemistries and things like that. So the era of realism, especially later in the year, we can kind of throw that out the window. So I do think, you know, making it more fair for certain cards to at least have 90 speed and like hit certain thresholds, I think is a standard, especially if it is a champion. I do think that is something very important to mention out, not specific to Dan Marino, but just any other cards that are like that, in which, you know, they might slow them down, but their abilities are really good. But there's cards in the game that have 99 speed and 99s everywhere with good abilities as well. Why would you not use those cards as well? You understand what I'm saying? So I do think that is something that, you know, definitely is important to be able to mention. And in true Star J Pool fashion, he says, add more pay to win content. Now, obviously Star J is trolling. He's obviously trolling. Don't come after him. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously a troll. You feel me? But I think if they're going to continue with the premium field pass, I think there should be a little bit more value to be added. I don't know if that's a controversial take, but if people are going to be spending, you know, money and things like that, maybe not even necessarily make it pay to win content. Because you know me, I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, we need pay to win content. But for example, we could kind of tie it back into the alternate uniforms. Now, this isn't ideal, but if they were to add alternate uniforms in the premium pass, because a lot of people want it, they could make money off of that, based off of what people like. Now, again, I'm not saying that that should be what they do, but that could be a happy medium of what they could do to like make the season pass more wanted by other people, make some of the packs just a little bit better. You know, there are some good packs in there, but I do think, you know, there should be a little more, because like, for example, like the random training and stuff, I think those were absolutely trash all year. The random training shuffles, I don't think I ever got above 1,000 training out of any of those. So I do think we could adjust those drop rates and everything like that. That could be something that, you know, we kind of look into for the next year, you know, especially if this is the type of content that they're gonna, you know, release and the type of strategy that they're going to do. So boys, that is going to wrap it up today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Again, let me know down in the comment section what other things you guys would want to see in Madden 26. You know, who knows, if this video goes crazy, we could drop a part 2, and again, we could even drop my own wish list for what I would want in the next game. Y'all boys, let me know, man. Again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Boys, we'll catch y'all. Peace.